Number 31. Okay, we have x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x plus 6 divided by x plus 3 or x minus a negative 3. Put the negative 3 in the upper left and write out the coefficients of the dividend. 1, 2, negative 3, 2, and 6. Bring down the 1. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Negative 3 times 0 is 0. 2 plus 0 is 2. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, and these add up to 0, so there's 0 remainder. So the quotient, the original was a 4th degree, the quotient now is a 3rd degree polynomial. That's x cubed minus x squared plus 0x, so there's no x term, plus 2. Number 33. We've got x to the fourth minus 8x cubed plus 24x squared minus 32x plus 16 divided by x minus 2. Alright, put your 2 up there in the upper left. And then we've got the coefficients, so the dividend 1, negative 8, negative 24, or rather positive 24. A little minus sign can cause a lot of problems later, especially in calculus. If you put a positive instead of a negative, or the other way around when there should be something else, and you've done some calculus and you find that you've gone through a very long computation and your answer is totally screwed up, oh my gosh, that is frustrating. So you learn to be very careful. Alright, so you bring down the 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. 24 minus 12 is 12. And then 2 times 12 is 24. 24 minus 32 is negative 8. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16, and those add up to 0. So there's a 0 remainder. So the answer is x cubed minus 6x squared plus 12x minus an 8. There's your quotient. $35. So we got x to the fourth minus 12x cubed plus 54x squared minus 108x plus 81 divided by x minus 3. Alright. 1, negative 12, 54, negative 108, 81. Okay, 3 times 1 is 3. Negative 12 plus 3 is negative 9. 3 times negative 9 is negative 27. And then that plus 54 is 27. 3 times 27 is 81. And then that plus negative 108 is negative 27. 3 times negative 27 is negative 81, and add those and you get 0. So our quotient is x cubed minus 9x squared plus 27x minus 27, and there's no remainder. Number 37. So there's 4x to the 4th plus 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x plus 2 divided by 2x plus 1. And they're throwing us another one where we have to massage it a little bit to cooperate. So we've got 4x to the 4th plus 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x plus 2 over 2x plus 1. So I'm going to just do like I've done before. Factor out the 2 on the bottom, the divisor here. That leaves you with x plus a half. And so now you can divide the 2 into the coefficients in the numerator here. So you're going to get, let's see, 2x to the 4th plus x cubed minus 2x squared plus x plus 1. Alright, at least they made it nice and easy to divide. That's the same as x minus a negative half, or x minus negative 1/2. So you put a negative half in the top left corner. And then you've got a 2, 1, negative 2, 1, and 1. Bring down the 2. Negative a half times 2 is negative 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Negative a half times 0 is 0. And then you've got negative 2 plus 0 is negative 2. Negative half times negative 2 is positive 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Negative a half times 2 is negative 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So the final result, the quotient is 2x cubed, and there's a 0x squared minus 2x plus 2, and there's no remainder. Number 39. For the following exercises, use synthetic division to determine whether the first expression is a factor of the second. If it is, indicate the factorization. So, 39 we have x minus 2 and 3x to the 4th minus 6x cubed minus 5x plus 10. So we're going to use x minus 2 as a divisor, divide it into this polynomial, and if we get a zero remainder, we'll know that this divisor is indeed a factor of that polynomial, and then we can write the factorization very easily. So let's use the 2 in the upper left corner from the x minus 2 and write down the coefficients. We've got 3, negative 6. There's a 0x squared there, so we have to write the 0, and a negative 5 and a 10. Bring down the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 5 plus 0 is negative 5. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And 10 minus 10 is 0. So there is a 0 remainder. So x minus 2 is a factor of the original of this polynomial here. So what we've done is we've divided 3x to the 4th minus 6x cubed minus 5x plus 10, divided that by x minus 2. And the result, well, this originally is an x to the 4th. That's going to be a 3x cubed plus 0x squared plus 0x minus 5. So that's the quotient. Now what you do is multiply both sides by x minus 2, so you'll end up with a factorization. 3x to the 4th minus 6x cubed minus 5x plus 10. Multiplying both sides by x minus 2, that gives you x minus 2 times 3x cubed minus 5. And there is our factorization. Number 41. So our divisor is x minus 2, dividend is 4x to the 4th minus 15x squared minus 4. Alright, so let's see if x minus 2 is a factor of that. And we'll use the 2 in the upper left corner. Write our coefficients. There's 4x to the 4th, 0x cubed, negative 15x squared, 0x, and negative 4. Bring down the 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 and 0 are 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 minus 15 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus a negative 4 is 0. So there's a 0 remainder. And so we have our factorization. So here's our factorization. 4x to the 4th minus 15x squared minus 4. That equals x minus 2 times, and we've got 4x cubed plus 8x squared plus x plus 2. And if you want to see a little more detail as to how I arrive at this, please look at problem 39. All right, there you go. We've got x plus 1/3 and 3x to the fourth plus x cubed minus 3x plus 1. That's x minus a negative 1/3, so we'll use negative 1/3 in the corner. And put our coefficients for the dividend, 3, 1, 0. The 0 is 0x squared. And the minus 3 and 1. Bring down the 3. Negative 1/3 times 3 is negative 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Negative 1/3 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. Negative 1/3 times 0 is 0. Negative 3 plus 0 is negative 3. And negative 1/3 times negative 3 is positive 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. All right. Well, the remainder obviously is not 0, so that means that this is not a factor of this. All right. Okay, number 45, it says, for the following exercises, use the graph of a third-degree polynomial and one factor to write the factored form of the polynomial suggested by the graph. The leading coefficient is 1. Alright, so here's the graph. They gave us a second-degree polynomial, a quadratic, as one of the factors, and they say it's a third-degree polynomial, so we're looking for another polynomial of degree 1 to write the factorization of this. And you'll note the 0 is at x equals 1. Alright, so that's going to be very relevant to what we're doing. Alright, so x minus 1, that means is a 0. X minus 1 is 0. Because when x equals 1, right there, 1 minus 1 is 0. The function equals 0 when x equals 1. Alright, the function value is 0 when x equals 1. So that means this is a factor. And rather, instead of 0, I'll say factor. X equals 1 is a 0. That's what I should have written, but I mentioned that already. X equals 1 is a 0, so that means x minus 1 is a factor. Okay? So what we have is x minus 1, and then they already gave us the other factor. That's x squared plus 2x plus 4. So there's our factorization, and the leading coefficient when you multiply this out is indeed 1, as they were telling us. Okay, number 47. Let's look at the graph. So they gave us a quadratic factor. It's a third-degree polynomial, they tell us, and so we need a linear factor, degree 1, that is. Notice where the 0 is at x equals 5. Alright, so since x equals 5 is a 0, then x minus 5 is a factor. Alright, so what we have then is x minus 5 times x squared plus x plus 1, which they gave us. And there is our factorization. Okay, number 49. For the following exercises, use synthetic division to find the quotient and remainder. So, we've got 4x cubed minus 33 divided by x minus 2. So our divisor is x minus 2. Put the 2 in the corner, upper left corner. And then you write out the coefficients of the dividend. 4x cubed, 0x squared, 0x, and a minus 33, the constant term. All right. Bring down the 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 0 plus 8 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 0 plus 16 is 16. 2 times 16 is 32. And then negative 33 plus 32 is negative 1. So there you go. So written out, we've got 4x cubed minus 33 divided by x minus 2 is equal to 4x squared plus 8x plus 16. Remainder is minus 1, so I'll put minus the remainder over the divisor x minus 2. So that's the problem fully written out. The quotient I'll write as q. The quotient would be the 4x squared plus 8x plus 16. And the remainder, I'll write r, is negative 1. Okay, 51. 3x cubed plus 2x minus 5 divided by x minus 1. So we put the 1 in the upper left corner. Write out the coefficients of the dividend. 3x cubed, we've got a 0x squared, a 2x, and minus 5. So you bring down your 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 0 plus 3 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. There you go. So 3x cubed plus 2x minus 5 divided by x minus 1 is equal to 3x squared plus 3x plus 5. Alright, so the quotient q is 3x squared plus 3x plus 5. And the remainder r is 0. (53). So we have x to the 4th minus 22 over x plus 2 or x minus a negative 2. So you put a negative 2 in the upper left corner. Write our coefficients. We've got a 1x to the 4th, a 0x cubed, 0x squared, 0x, and then finally the constant term minus 22. So don't forget those 0 placeholders. If you do, you'll get the wrong answer. So drop down the 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 0 plus negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. 0 minus 8 is negative 8. And negative 2 times negative 8 is positive 16. And when you add these two, you get a negative 6. So there's your remainder. So the quotient is this. That's going to be a 1x cubed, or x cubed, minus 2x squared, plus 4x minus 8. And the remainder is negative 6.